Hey everyone, welcome to our very first podcast episode of BSU. We are here with the Interact Club, and for our very first episode, we will be talking about mental illnesses and like an introduction to mental health for those of you who don't know.
And we're going to talk about our own experiences, and then we're going to tell you how you can improve on them.
For an introduction, most children don't know what mental health is. They can always refer to if someone is being sad or angry. They always think it's some kind of depression, and they don't really take it as seriously as others. For mental health, it is actually how we respond to situations and our ability to make wise decisions. It is important for us to handle stressful situations and work productively.
Yeah, and especially now we're getting to grow up. We need to learn how to control our emotions and how to handle them in a respectful and a good way instead of just lashing out to our parents.
Yeah.
We need to be grown about this.
Yeah. Everyone is going through the same thing, and if you really feel uncomfortable or anything, you can always talk to people you know, get support from them. Even if you're feeling a little bit down, it's okay.
Yeah, we're all in the same school and we're all in the community.
Yeah.
I feel like we have to have each other's back.
Yeah. If you see someone who looks like they need help or having a hard time, you can always talk to them and be open.
So my personal experience is that I have major anxiety. I've been dealing with that since middle school, and it gets intense during exam weeks. I overthink about a lot of stuff. I think about the future and my exams, university, and I think of the worst possible things, and that leads to my sleeplessness, and that leads to my not studying, and that leads to getting bad grades. So it branches into a lot of different other issues that people don't really understand it.
Most students, talking about our classmates, when we first got into 10th or 11th grade, when we first knew about IGCSE exams, we were all very panicking, and most of us, we didn't know that such symptoms were actually symptoms of anxiety. Just thought it was normal because everyone was saying.
Yeah, it's more normalized now.
Yeah. For me, before I went into the exams, I always had a feeling of nervousness and I need to go to the toilet. Even though you don't really need to go.
So we're going to talk about a little bit about more in depth of what kind of mental illnesses is there and their symptoms.
So the most common illnesses, as I said, were anxiety, ADHD, and depression, or even behavior problems. But these illnesses always come from pressure from households, personal reasons, and maybe even grade comparison. It is proven that most adolescents go through depressive episodes, substance use, and even suicide concerns. But some also diagnose themselves with serious illnesses when it's a small personality issue. So if you do need help, please do research, and if needed, visit a specialist.
So I think depression we all know about. On the outside, it just looks like someone who doesn't enjoy life, sad, and just sees a negative person. But on the inside, it's a mood disorder, which involves feeling hopelessness, sadness, and loss of interest in the things they used to have enjoyed doing it. According to the American Psychological Association, symptoms include changes in sleep habits, in social behavior, and having problems with concentration, difficulty in completing tasks, and increased pessimism.
So the second major mental illness is anxiety, which is the feeling of worry and panic which can interfere with our day-to-day life. These are all unreasonable thoughts, fears, and obsessions that may lead to repetitive behaviors, panic disorder, and even social anxiety disorder. Symptoms include frequent upset stomach and feelings of stress and restlessness, shortness of breath, excessive sweating and dizziness, headaches, muscle pain, and tension.
There's also ADHD, which stands for Attention Deficient Hyperactivity Disorder. It's usually in levels of hyperactivity, impulse decisions, and could also be having a hard time focusing on tasks or having trouble sitting still for a long time. I think the outside symptoms are having trouble concentrating or being distracted easily, interrupting or taking risks, and constantly fidgeting or difficulty staying on task.
The next problem is like behavior problems, which includes like talking back, violent behavior, bullying, and maybe even manipulation to get what they want. Most of these behaviors, as like parents say, they are like due to like phones, like a phone addiction, gamings. But these can be like misunderstood as just being lazy or ignorant to people. But when they put more pressure on the child, the result it can like worsen, and it adds more secondary problems like insomnia, which is like which can affect our sleep cycle.
I think a lot of people are just trying to fix it instead of more understanding it. Like when I'm like depressed or have anxiety, I don't want to like fix it. I just want someone to relate to me or like understand my situation, and that I think that will be a really big help instead of like trying to fix the person, trying to make them like normal. Yeah.
I feel like you should just accept it and maybe talk to another person to let it all out rather than keeping it in. So to like deal with these illnesses mentally,
I feel like you need to shift your perspective if you're the one dealing with it. Like, learn to live in the moment. Like life is fun. Enjoy your time. Enjoy your youth. It's like last time, maybe like in school, high school, like in 10 years, you would regret like you should have had more friends. You should have gone out more. And don't worry about the future. Like don't worry about your future, but not too much to the point where it's like affecting your daily basis. And don't worry about the past, because the past made you who you are, and the troubles you've went through, all of those are in the past now, so you don't have to worry about those now.
I think the most important way to deal with these are like support. You are definitely not alone in this journey. There are like people who are going through the same thing. You can always talk to your family members, friends, or even teachers, whoever that makes you feel the most comfortable. Just talking to them and letting all of your feelings out rather than keeping it in, it will like help you overcome your obstacles, like get something off your chest. You could also seek like professional help.
I feel like I'm really grateful that in the schools, like all of the teachers wants to help. They always say, if you need anything, reach out to me.
They're more open-minded.
And I like how our school is taking the initiative to work about the children's mental health, because my last school didn't. We didn't have a psychologist or anything like this, so I think you should be grateful and use the opportunity and talk to anyone if you need to. And as my personal tip, like don't compare yourself to anyone, because everyone's different. Everyone's been through a lot. Everyone's like been through different difficulties in their life, and your grade doesn't like define who you are. That person could be like studying all day, and you could have been not studying at all. So be just who the person you want to be, instead of like looking at others.
Yeah, like rather than comparing yourself, you can always like set yourself small targets, which can lead to like big steps into the future.
Yeah. Instead of like, oh, I want to get an A this semester.
Yeah.
I want to study like, oh, I'm gonna study for like 15 minutes today, or I'm gonna read a book. Small accomplishments make a big deal out of it.
Even just like looking at your notes for 10 minutes can like make a difference. So for physically, make sure to like find time with friends and family. We as humans are like meant to be social, interacting with others, and it can also fuel our brains to help us gain more knowledge.
And if like the people you're talking to won't accept you and then is judging you, I think you're talking to the wrong person, and it's time to make new friends. There's a lot of people in the school. I think it's better for you to create a time schedule, because everything, if it's too much, it becomes a poison. Like if you're sleeping too much, it's bad for you. If you're on your phone too much, it's bad for you. And even if you're gaming, so I think everyone needs to have a great balance. And especially now, since we're like growing up, we need to understand that it's time management is a good thing. So write down like how many hours you need to study, how many you sleep, make some like 5 minute breaks in between. And yeah.
Maybe if you're like having trouble revising, you can always get a calendar and like record on what days you are going to focus on one subject. It can make a big impact if you like plan ahead and not just like stay in the moment, like maybe procrastinate, stress over small things. It's better to plan everything. Next advice is to like make changes in your lifestyle. Do something which makes you feel happy. It can be like meditating, journaling, yoga, or like any sports, or even just like distracting yourself with small activities could help you make a big difference.
And we're grateful that our school provides us to go outside during breaks and lunch, to get fresh air, to be in the outdoors, like freaking vitamin D. And you can bring your own ball, you can play volleyball, play outside, run around. I feel like it's a really big help for me because I don't go out much when I'm home. It's a good opportunity for you to make friends,
Like
enjoy
to stay in the sun.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're here with our school psychologist, and we gathered questions from students that they wanted to ask our psychologist. So our first question is, how did you decide to become a psychologist, and what is your experience as a psychologist?
So right after I graduated my high school, I got a scholarship from the Russian government, and I had this chance to study in one of the top universities in Russia, like in Moscow. And when I went there, I kind of got disappointed, and I just got lost. I just I just couldn't imagine myself being in a financial sphere, doing this maths, working as a financist. And after studying for a while, I decided after studying for a while, I think I found out what I really like and what makes me feel happy, and that was psychology. And I just found out that I really love talking and communicating with people. And and then I just dropped out of my university in Russia, and then I got transferred here in Mongolia, and I just continued my study in psychology. Yeah. And now I am happily studying my career as a psychologist. Yeah. And to help people to improve their lives.
If you were to give advice to teenagers, what would it be?
My advice for teenagers would be, the first one will be, don't compare yourself to others, because when you look at others to measure your worth, you're kind of dismissing your talents, your skills, and your physical features and your opinions. So instead, I will recommend spending your energy discovering all your skills, building on your strengths, and fine-tuning those weaknesses. Be the best you, as that is enough. And the second one will be, cool is just a matter of opinion, because we all can pretend to being cool, right? So speaking of friends, you may sometimes try to fit in with groups of people who deem to be cool, but such a strategy rarely ever works out in the long term. So instead of trying to be cool and just confronting other people, you can just stay true to yourself. I think that is enough. And the next one will be, saying no is fine. As a teenager, you may find that there is a lot of pressure to say yes to everything, and this could come from your friends or from other people you know in and out of school. For example, some of your friends are going to the cinema, but you don't really want to, or perhaps you get invited to go on holiday with their friends or with your family when you find this a bit too awkward. So it's okay to say no to this people and other opportunities that come your way, I think. And the last one is seeking help when things get too much is fine, because we all struggle sometimes, right? We all feel lost sometimes. So when you feel emotional or when you feel overwhelmed, seeking for help is always helps. Yeah.
And our last question is, what can we do to make our everyday life better?
In order to make our daily life better, I would suggest focusing on right now, because most of the people, they have lingering thoughts on their past, right? regretting about something, like, oh, I could do that better, or like I could get better grades and something like that. But instead, like focusing on self-growth and life improvement may require you to live in the present moment. So in order to focus more on the present, you can consider like practicing mindfulness, like thinking about what makes you feel happy, what can you do right now, and what makes you feel better right at this moment. And also you can accept the things that you cannot control. For example, we cannot control the weather, right? We can control, but instead we can control our anger. So like focusing on yourself is really good.
Okay, that is all for our first episode. Just a reminder that if you are going through something, whether it's big or small, our school's psychologists or our teachers are always there to help you. Small steps could always make a huge difference, and don't be afraid to seek the help you need. Thank you.